Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still running Russia, still working on playing the great game. I took another look at Pacification of the Steppes because I realized I don't think I've actually taken you through this event chain yet, this journal entry. So we got 10 years for this until the end of 1835. And here's what we need to do. Despite nominal Russian control over the Kazakh steppes since the 18th century, banditry and disloyalty plagues the territory. Kazakh rebels, led by the aristocrat Kenasari Kazimuli, who we've been seeing these events about, have been striking again and again against our supply convoys and fortresses in the region. Only with the final pacification of the steppe may the Tsar truly be said to be sovereign of Kazakhstan. So this will complete if 100% of eligible subjects or their subjects is a puppet type, or liberty desires equal to or less than 25. Eligible means Kazakh is the primary culture. I assume that's going to be the Zhuzes, but let's find out. Kazakh here, Kazakh here, Kazakh here. Now what about these? Kyrgyz, Uzbek, and Turkmen. Alright, so it's just the Zhuzes. Now we need to get them down to puppets. That's going to be difficult, but I think we'll be able to manage it. Alright. Let's get going here. We're still in a war with Britain in India, which, force comparison here is looking pretty good. We have not been land invaded. Oh, this fleet needs a leader. This guy seems good. He's direct. He's a naval commander. Give you a little promotion. Alright, so they're getting their organization back. Then we got this small fleet here. And of course the Baltic fleet, which is way over on capital ships. What if I naval invaded Britain? What if I just snuck right in there? Okay, I've got an army here. But I could relocate up to here. So let's get the first corps. We'll naval invade the Highlands. Too few flotillas, minus 8% efficiency. That'll be fine. Hopefully they won't be able to get an army up there. We'll put this HQ here, so that it can defend that area. Then we'll see if we can sneak in the north and create a problem for ourselves. And maybe create a problem for, well, ideally we're creating a problem for our enemies, but we'll see. And then the French will maybe come in to help. So we got 2 weeks. I don't see any... Okay, so this fleet, Portsmouth Station fleet, might be on its way over here to handle our situation. But if they're not, I'll be very pleased. We might be able to sneak in before they arrive, because they're still not quite in the Bay of Biscay yet. This is very cheeky. Alright, battle success, and battle success, and battle success. Beautiful. And our army is there. Excellent. So we're advancing. Now it doesn't matter if we lose to Portsmouth Station, because we have land invaded Great Britain. We'll just designate the home counties as the strategic objective, and this army will press forward. You are going to press forward, right? Does the enemy have an army here? They don't. So as long as we can continue to press forward... Alright, so they are partially occupied, which means they are losing war support at a rapid rate. Beautiful. So that means we will have success in the war place, and that means France will get to ban slavery, but more importantly, we'll win. Law progress to consideration, so we are rolling back women's rights over here. At the request of the Gentry Assembly, and that just is what it is. We're doing Tsar stuff, that's what you gotta do. Prussia has proposed a trade agreement. I am, of course, going to accept. And this will make the Prussian-Russian Fellowship... Or, sorry, not the Prussian-Russian Fellowship. How could I have been so stupid? The Russian-Prussian Fellowship has been made much happier by this. And That means that the intelligentsia should be marginally happier. Yes, +3 from appeasement of political lobbies. They're mad about the whole women's rights thing, but it is what it is. It's what's happening. I can do something about it, but I have decided not to. East India Company should also be pretty likely to leave the war, I should say. Oh no, they're not a negotiating participant, are they? Hold on, where are they? Yeah, they're over here. Okay, well they're mostly occupied, so... Oh, Siam has bailed on this thing. That's unfortunate. Well, we are continuing to press forward here. Not so happy that we got fronts in Ireland and Man, but it is what it is. Hopefully we'll be able to... Hopefully it won't matter. They are bringing an army over here, so that might make things complicated. But again, I think Great Britain is very likely to bail out of this war in a moderate time frame. So I'm feeling pretty confident overall in my capabilities. Our finances are significantly improving as we build up our governing capacity as well. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Our convoy situation is absolutely Robert borked. Here's law of progress to adoption. Wonderful. And Great Britain bailed. Excellent. So that means the war is over. Excellent. Unfortunately, they seem to have gained some progress in the Great Game, which they weren't for a while, but they are now. All right. So yeah, so we maybe they white pieced. Anyway, let's take a look at these events. Anti-British League. The Anti-British League has offered us an opportunity to sign a trade agreement with France. Their proposal, if accepted, is intended to counter British interests. It was a veiled sort of aggression, one which could, in theory, appeal to both ardent jingoists and those who prefer to mitigate losses. It would force the enemy to respond, possibly drive them towards a reckless confrontation in response to a seemingly benign maneuver. A plan to fight Great Britain to the last French, one minister remarked. The representative flushed. He had practiced responses along both lines, but none of them quite fit. We would be happy to pursue this. This is not in our interests. I think definitely our attitude toward us is cooperative. Relations are not great, but we could improve them. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Be happy to pursue this. Alright, so that's a journal entry, lobby opportunity, times out in 5 years. And so that'll make the Anti-British League happy. Alright, so let's go ahead and improve relations with them. That's the rest of our additional influence, but our influence will have more available as we finish out improving relations with our other countries here. Baltic Governorate is now feeling aloof. They are content with the status quo, unlikely to actively seek autonomy, but equally unlikely to agree to demands for further integration. That's completely fine with me. I'm perfectly happy to have them as a puppet. I think it's just fine for the Baltic Governorates to have their own thing going on. They have North German and Prussian and Russian as their primary cultures. That's really interesting. North German and Russian. Are these places significant North German populations? I suppose they do. Well, no, they're mostly Latvian. We got Latvians here in Courland. We got Latvians here in South Livonia. We got Estonians here in Revel in North Livonia. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. So having cultures of European heritage, are the Baltic Governorates? They're national supremacy, so they're running kind of apartheid states, which is not ideal. But again, we don't necessarily need to worry about that, but we will eventually want to work it out. Trade route with the French market is inactive. Well, why is it inactive? We'll get rid of it. Has France embargoed us in some fashion? Well, anyway. So can we get a trade agreement with them? Not yet, I don't think. I'd love to give them investment rights. I would love to get invested in by France, but it is what it is. We've moved even closer to legal guardianship, so I hope that goes quickly enough. A little bit more authority. We're losing some from having low popularity. We're getting a bonus from... We're getting a bonus line item here from Russia. I wonder if that's because we've got... from Orthodox Church. Oh, I bet it's because, yeah, Divine Right is giving us a little bonus. So that's nice. If we could get Nikolai Romanov to be more popular, it would help. But that that little mustache, no one's cutting him any slack because of that mustache. I'm definitely blaming the mustache. The mustache game is the thing that matters here. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding legal guardianship, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the Gentry Assembly, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. I can go with legal guardianship will be on everyone's lips now for 10% enacted chance. I can say this sure puts the Gentry Assembly in a good light for 10% stronger landowners. Or I can ensure the play gets a wider international audience, and you know what? I'm going with that third one. 20 prestige is not a lot, but in the early game, it's a pretty good amount. So, I think at this stage, iron is still pretty expensive, but I think that's the next big economic development we're going to do. Almost finished improving relations with Kandahar. I think they're still ultimately going to drift out of our sphere, but for the moment, it just kind of is what it is. Alright, so, iron mines. Where do we have a lot of labor and infrastructure available? I think Kharkiv is a good place. Tambov is a great location. Let's put a bunch of levels of mines in Tambov. And before we do that, we'll go ahead and build a few more construction sectors. And you know what? We'll build them in Tambov, because that's a good... We're building up iron sources there anyway. Alright, so now we've got a little bit more influence to play with. I could improve relations with Sweden. Relations with Sweden are bad, but they could be better. On the other hand, I could also improve relations with... I'm already improving relations with Moldavia, aren't I? I'm not. Alright, hold on. We'll stop improving relations with Wallachia, and we'll improve relations with Moldavia, and then once we're done improving relations with Austria, we'll help things out with Wallachia as well. Wallachia. We've got another defections event. Defections to the Caucasian imamate. The multinational nature of Shamil Dusha's imamate has proven irresistible to many of our subjects in the Russian North Caucasus. Officers and landowners alike have reported numerous defections to the imamate. The mistreatment of our military deserters by the Chechens kept many unreliable soldiers, especially the Poles, from running away. But if they now find out that Shamil gives freedom to deserters, I'm afraid that runs will increase. I would think to keep soldiers from escaping the first deserters to be shot. I, together with this, ordered all private commanders to aggravate supervision of unreliable soldiers and report to me immediately about those who make an escape. I'm just going to have to tighten security on the region to avoid further defections. This is what I did last time, and I'm going to keep doing it. It's rough, but it's what we've got to do. Just giving it a second to make sure the sound hasn't completely borked. It hasn't. So we'll continue with the game. So I believe at this stage we're doing as well as we can do with Kandahar. They're still gaining autonomy. They're gonna fall out of our situation unless we're able to give them something. And I think we ultimately might end up just granting them independence. As far as the other locations, let me see. Baltic Governorates is good to go. It's not showing their attitude in here. Kishi Zhuz is going down. Orta Zhuz is going down. So I think, unfortunately, I am going to want to reduce the autonomy of the Zhuzes, because I need to be able to get them down to puppet status in order to pacify the Kazakh steppe. Which I'll get by completing the pacification of the steppes journal entry. And I need them all to be puppets. As a puppet type subject. Liberty desire equal to or less than 25. So that's going to take a long time. Law advancement. Very good. Perfectly fine. Nothing to concern myself with there. Let me take a quick run at our thing here. We're almost done with our bureaucracy buildup. So I think I'm going to pop these ones below the other stuff. I am going to continue to increase the government admin, and then I'm going to put these construction sectors at the top of the mines. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put them right after these other government admin buildings. And then I'll finish out the government admin for now, and then I'll build the mines. And then I think after that, we need to get more universities, because right now we're really being hamstrung by the fact that we don't have rifling and logistics to finish out the Caucasian War. So that's what we need universities for. I know that sounds rather roundabout, but it is what it is. So what's a good place to build up intellectual resources? Tambov has an absolutely phenomenal amount of labor available, so that's a good location. Oh, Yaroslavl is a great place. Tons of infrastructure there as well. And Tula, goodness. Let's put... Tula's a little low on infrastructure. Let's put 3 levels... Let's put a level 5 university in Yaroslavl. That's what we'll do. That would be the sort of education hub of the whole northern part of the country. How's that sound? So we'll throw all of these government admins here at the bottom, and we'll build up those universities. And then after that, we'll be doing just fine. I think I could afford to reduce taxes, but I'm still building up my reserve. My maximum reserve compared to what I've got is 6.5 million, and my economy is continuing to grow, so I do want to keep my reserve growing. Let's see. Having a prestige balance and GDP balance, so I need to work on increasing the size of my economy, and that's part of why I'm working on getting iron up. Let's see. So now we've got some import capacity available, for some bureaucratic capacity available. So let's bring in iron from Prussia. And there's the government petition completed. Obviously, that puts us short on bureaucracy again, but that's all right. I don't necessarily need to concern myself with that. All right. The Great Molasses Flood. A storage tank full to the brim with molasses intended for rum distillation has burst, flooding the streets of Oryol's commercial center, killing dozens and injuring hundreds of bystanders. The molasses, waist-deep, covered the streets and swirled and bubbled about in the wreckage. Here and there struggled a form. Whether it was an animal or a human being was impossible to tell. Only an upheaval, a thrashing about in the sticky mass, showed where any life was at all. Close the distilleries while the wreckage gets cleared. Well, one tragedy must not stop progress. I'm going to say one tragedy must not stop progress. If I can't let people drown in the sugar water, what's the point of being a tsar? Action and reaction. As news escaped Constantinople of yet another violent crackdown on the Ottoman labor movement, outraged members of the trade unions have taken to the streets of St. Petersburg, marching under the banner of the Anti-Ottoman Association. In the imagination of the Russian labor movement, the Ottoman Empire had long loomed as a bastion of reaction, but something felt different about this particular incident. Perhaps the violence exhibited by the Constantinople constabulary had been especially brutal this time. Perhaps it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. In any case, as the Russian workers unfurled their banners and marched down the streets toward the ambassadorial quarter, their cries for the overthrow of Sultan Mehmet Osmanoglu reverberated throughout the city like they never had before. As long as their anger is focused abroad, trade unions join the Anti-Ottoman Association, temper their rage with diplomatic action. Russian relations towards the Ottoman Empire deteriorate by 10. trade unions approval increases. Alright, so the trade unions are really, really weak at this time, so I don't need to worry about appeasing them. I'm gonna have them join the Anti-Ottoman Association. I think that's just fine. It's gonna help, because I am gonna take all sorts of actions against the Ottoman Empire as we get going here. Almost good with Austria here. Looking forward to getting that completed so that I can improve relations with Wallachia and then eventually Serbia. I would love to have all three of these countries in my customs union. So, wait, diplomacy screen and countries is where I'm going to look at influence, right? I'm still learning a lot of these systems. Greece. Okay, that takes me there. Subjects. Power block, maybe? Got... Gosh darn it. Where was that screen? We can't invite them to our power block because we need 200 leverage or more. Greece would accept if we call in the obligation. So we need to increase leverage. But where can I see the leverage screen? That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. I found it. I found it at one point. I just can't now. 4 more years till we get another tenant. Here we go. You literally, it's mousing over there. Plus 195 advantage. And where are we getting that from? Some weekly leverage. I think it's just increasing over time, equivalent to leverage share of 40%, compared to 213 of the unclaimed leverage, resulting in a leverage advantage of 195. And we are getting plus 1 weekly leverage, so I think that means 5 weeks, and then we'll be good to go. So let's check again in the middle of April. Yeah, so that number went up. We are in the diplomacy view here. Nope, not this view. This view here. Okay. There is a movement for National Guard. I don't desire National Guard, but it would be nice to make all the folks happy. It would be nice to have happy folks, I swear. Here is General Staff about to be passed, which means that we can import... Beautiful. So that means if we can import... Now, can I do skirmish infantry? I can. Alright, beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to upgrade all of our armies, and that's going to put us on much better footing militarily. However, it does mean we're going to need to import a lot of ammunition. So let's go ahead and import ammunition. Let's go ahead and start an import route with Prussia and one with France. And then the more ammunition is being consumed by our market, the more those will grow. Tools and iron are expensive. It just is what it is. Soon we'll be building up our iron reserves. So what's in tech now? We're working on percussion cap and then rifling. There's our shortage of ammunition. We are going to get a little bit more bureaucratic capacity once these two government admins finish. Unfortunately, our bureaucratic capacity is really heavily limited because we don't have the ability to quickly research central archives on account of we are short stock exchange, empiricism, and mass communication. Paddle steamer. Excellent. Alright, so, mutual investment rights agreement with Austria. Austria has proposed a mutual investment rights agreement. You know what? I agree. It is May. Okay, we are at 215 with Greece. And we have an invite country option with Greece. It says they will. Willkommen. Acceptance is plus 102, 107 due to leverage, 50 due to cohesion. If declined, they'll deteriorate by 50. Relations between us and them will. We're at 100 cohesion. I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm. We should get the notification over here. Wonderful. Excellent. It also appears that Montenegro is potentially able to be brought into the power block, so that's nice. Let's take a look at those ammunition trade routes. They are increasing right now, so that's very good. We're also in the process of researching percussion cap, and that should let us import explosives to make our own ammunition. So that should also be good as well. Let's go ahead and start improving relations with Wallachia as well. Ideally, I would love to pull Moldavia into my thing. Maybe I should support independence. Oh, there's empiricism. Nice. Oh, and this gives us a nice little influence bonus as well. So that's nice. Unfortunately, the Great Game is not going great for us, but it's a process. Actually, let's take a look at where we are with our subjects. So we can now reduce the autonomy of a couple of different countries. I think the ideal target is Orta Zhuz because they're the highest level one. If we can get them down to a dominion, of course this will increase the liberty desire of all of our other subjects, but they are all going down at a relatively rapid rate. So, oh, interesting. They can increase loyalists from standard of living increases and reduce radicals from discrimination when their liberty desire is low. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. That's neat. I think we may need to let Kandahar go. I think that's what we've got to do. It's basically inevitable at this point. They're just going to drift out of our sphere, unfortunately. But the good news is we'll get Orta Zhuz. We'll decrease their autonomy. Send liberty desire for every other subject. Decrease their liberty desire by 50. But we got to do it. Alright, and that's automatic? Yes, that just happened. That just goes. So that's lovely. And now they're our color. That's wonderful. So let's take a quick look at our diplomacy lists again. Once again, Kandahar is still very high in its independence desire. Kishi Zhuz and Uli Zhuz have increased just a bit more. They're still going down by 11 and 12 per week, though, which is like 5 a year. So that's a pretty manageable amount. And more importantly, this puts us kind of on track for this. Unfortunately, Orta Zhuz is now at 71, but that's not that big. They are entangled with us economically. So I'm feeling pretty okay about it overall. We just got lathe, which does unlock a new... We didn't even have... We had a method available. That does unlock a new production method for our textile mills and our furniture manufactories. So let's go ahead and fire away with that. This is going to make those much more productive. Glassworks, leaded glass. That's not going to be productive. Mutual investment pact with Prussia, absolutely. So, what does that do to our... we are importing dyes. Do we have the ability to produce dyes anywhere? We do. But only in Kandahar. And frankly, there's not a lot of labor available there to do that. Hold on, though. If I build those, will that reduce their autonomy? That's the thing I need to ask myself here. So now I'm building dye plantations in Kandahar. And let's take a quick look at the autonomy. Because I know this is something that we, that exists in... Ooh. Alexander Zavoyko is an abolitionist. Oh, excellent. Because I know this is something that exists in Hearts of Iron 4. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Plus 0.8 from economic dependence on Overlord. They're getting that because we're currently building stuff in them. Well, that's wonderful. Obviously, this is not improving our economic outlook whatsoever. But it is... Oh my goodness. Everyone wants tenant farmers. Everyone. Gosh. Okay, what if we did this? It would not... The Gentry Assembly would not be pleased about it. But it would get us off of serfdom, and that is very, very good. The Gentry Assembly are currently happy. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's give it a shot, and we'll see how it goes. We'll get a lot of loyalists from that anyway. So that's interesting. I'm hoping if I just build a few of these... Let me build a few more. Let me build like 2 more. And then... maybe that'll increase their dependence on me to the point where they're not gaining in independence anymore. I'd completely forgotten about this. This changes things completely. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot I could do. I completely forgot about investment, friends. I can actually... Okay, can I do this in my protectorates? I can. And I can use this to build iron in territory that will eventually be mine. That will always stay in the hands of my protectorates. You know what, though? I'm going to do this. That's what we're going to do. Oh my gosh, they got gold mine capacity. This is delightful. Supporting the Ottoman workers. We got this thing again. I'm going to say it'd be ill-advised. I don't necessarily want to strengthen the trade unions. I completely forgot about investing in subjects. I completely forgot they added that. So this is going to be really interesting. Stay tuned for more updates later on. Actually, let's go a little bit longer, and let's look at where we are with them now. So they're even now. They're at independent 0.2, but maybe they'll be increasing over time if I can get Well, no, they are going down. I think we're still going to lose them, but it's worth. I'm glad I realized that that's how that works, because that's definitely something that I will need to manipulate in future diplomatic action. We're very close. I'm going to give it... Okay, law debate success. We're up to 29%. All right, that's going to be everything for this episode. We're really getting deep into the politics of the new update, and I'm excited about that. I completely forgotten about the whole business with investing in your puppets. So that's going to offer us a lot of opportunities. But for now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.